Welcome back to the Actually Good Coffee Podcast, a show where we talk about all things coffee related, all while drinking a cup of coffee.
All while we eat delicious Costco gluten-free pizza.
We have to keep this kind of professional, at least.
I thought we had to be honest, and tell the people what we're doing. Today we're doing our 3-year anniversary episode of Maiden, specifically 3 years since Jack and I have owned Maiden. Just like I did last year for 2 years, I am asking Jack questions that he hasn't seen. They're nothing too crazy, pretty simple, straightforward anniversary reflection questions that he's going to answer, and I'm going to ask. You ready? I didn't know if there's anything you wanted to say.
No, that's it. No, bam, that's it.
How does it feel hitting 3 years in business compared to how it felt last year at year 2? You ate all of them?
There's only 4.
So there's 2 of us, so 2 each.
Okay. So you get 1.5.
Wow.
It doesn't really feel like a milestone to hit yearly benchmarks. I guess it somewhat feels like that, but I'm more so concerned with all the plans that we have coming in the next however long they're going to take, that this doesn't really feel like a milestone. Whereas year 2 felt more like a milestone because I paid off all that credit card debt. I still have the SBA loan. I still do now, but that's not as top of mind as it was back then. So it was a little bit more of those 2 events happening.
I feel like year 2 was really year 1 for you, because your year 1 was you took training. Almost.
Yeah.
Everything was new. You were still learning. Year 2 was your real first year that you had everything kind of your own and in order.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why year 2 felt a little bit more oh wow, I could say year 2.
Year 1 was I had no idea what was going on. Year 2 is okay, I know what I have to learn. And now year 3 is still a lot to learn, but picking which path to go down because everything takes so long to do.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Can you walk us through how your original vision for the business has shifted or has held steady over the past 3 years?
The first year, the mission for Maiden when I took it over was exceptional coffee at an affordable price. That wasn't really sustainable long term because if we were going to find exceptional coffee, we'd have to charge the rates in order to pay the premiums for that coffee. So it turned into providing an exceptional product through sustainable methods. And that really wasn't clarified until this past year. But the goal is always exceptional coffee and high quality as a priority. It's just, how do you get that? And what are some of the things that come along with that? So that's pretty much where we're at now, is still how do we clearly identify and ourselves, what is it that we focus on, right? There's so many different things we could do. We could enter competitions, we could focus on certifications, we could do pop-ups, we could do community events, we could do collaborations, we could do merch, we could do all of that, but what is it that everyone cares about the most? What do we care about the most, too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thinking back to your first year, and then your second, what stage of the journey are you in now? So I guess let's clarify, what were the stages so far? Year 1, year 2, and now year 3.
I already kind of said that. So I guess what I'll just say is year 3 is really focusing on, I'm sure everyone is sick of this word, but sustainability. What can we do that can sort of sustain our...
I feel like year 3 might be the low-key stage. You're kind of sticking with the customers you have. You're obviously going to want more, but just really growing the relationships you already have first, and growing the business you already have instead of trying to start all new different ventures.
I mean, 95% of our businesses are wholesale clients, so that's our focus. So how do we really bring value to them, and what is it that we can do that can really help them succeed in what they're doing? That's the focus this year. It's what can we do to be an asset to our clients so that they can succeed and they feel confident in their business. that's the focus, and trying to really strengthen that as much as possible.
What's something you believed in year 1 that you've completely changed your mind on by year 3?
I don't know if I necessarily believed this, but I had this attitude that I could do so much. You start to realize that everything takes super long to do, so you can only do so much in an amount of time. Like, my time horizon has definitely changed.
And that it cost a lot.
Yeah, and it costs money. Yeah, it costs money too. Also, too, like, making money is hard. I know, like, I don't know. Everything is a lot harder than I thought it was, which is fine. I'm all right with that. It's better to know the fight that you're going to get into rather than blindly walk into it, right? It's like we had the blessing of naivety for that first year. If I knew, I probably wouldn't have done it in the first place, but the fact that I didn't know was good, but now we know. So now it's, all right, time to build this thing.
Don't know, but we know now.
Yeah.
What are some major shifts or milestones that happened specifically between year 2 and year 3? Pricing.
Yeah,
probably.
pricing. Right. Milestones happened between year 2 and year 3. You know, really it just was like reality hit us year 2 in a good and bad way. And we had to either make changes or just die as a company. I don't mean to be dramatic with my wording, but it's like, essentially that's what you're doing. Like, you're just calling it quits, so you're saying, all right, we have to make changes and continue to proceed and move forward. So that's what we did. And we still have to do that. Like, we still have to find ways to just get better every single day. It's just like constantly sharpening the iron and figuring out what it is that you need to do to continue to get better.
Also, I feel like you made the shift from head roaster and owner to just owner, kind of like you were able to give that over to Jimmy officially in year 2, so it kind of let you focus, like not spend all your days roasting. Yeah,
that was a big shift, like kind of getting off like the treadmill and just doing things, having to do them myself every single day, being able to
Where do you get these catchphrases?
I don't
Getting
know.
Off the treadmill.
Well, it's like that's a thing. That's
no, I know. It's like when we talk in everyday life, you like don't say this, and then we do a podcast and you say like random phrases. Where did you get
my brain activates because I feel like when we talk off the podcast, we sound like idiots, and then when I talk on the podcast, it's like, all right, how do you say it so that people know what you're talking about?
Get off the hamster wheel and walk around the cage.
Well, because that's the other thing. That's not sustainable. Like, you can't do that forever. You have to get to a point where, like I said, that's a lot, but working on your business rather than in it, like, you have to be able to do that, because you can't just like be fixing problems all the time when they come up. You have to these temporary fixes that you do in the moment are not going to last long. You have to come up with longer term solutions. And in order to do that, you have to have the time to work on those problems. So that was the big shift.
And becoming a dad and a business owner.
Right. And doing that and figuring life out along with that. So.
Okay. How has your customer base changed in the last year? Are you seeing new types of customers or deeper relationships with existing ones? Yeah,
definitely growing relationships with existing ones. You know, for example, Will, it's nice to have formed that friendship with him now, to where we get together once in a while and we just talk about the coffee world. I see a lot of coffee carts popping up a lot, and social clubs too, or like these lifestyle cafes are really becoming popular. Last year it was like Mommy and Me sort of thing, and this year it's like these lifestyle all-in-one cafes where it's like a gym and a cafe and a local town club and having all these other things that are associated with, like, I think that's going to keep growing and keep coming up this year. So in terms of just trends, I think that will be a lot popular. That will be a lot more popular.
From an operations standpoint, what's more streamlined or efficient now that wasn't a year ago?
Our roasting, for sure. It's just more streamlined. Like, there's an actual schedule that we stick to. We're never scrambling last minute. It's very rare that we're scrambling last minute. So the next thing to figure out is trainings and education and offering that and getting into a system with that to where we could be meeting with clients on a consistent basis.
I think
have a space.
Cold brew too.
Cold brew as well.
Kind of had to.
Yeah, but meeting with clients on a consistent basis, having these systems in play where we're in constant communication, that sort of thing.
How has your team grown or changed over the last year?
Jimmy came on board. Jimmy's a rock star. Jimmy's great. Mike also came on too.
Yeah, you've lost some people.
We lost some people.
Gained some angels, lost some
Gained some wings. No, yeah, we gained some really solid people, which is great. And that is what makes us what we are today. So I'm really appreciative of that. And that's going to be a challenge at some point, is like finding the right people to hire. And I think I got lucky for the most part. But I'm sure that will be something that we'll have to tackle at some point in the next year.
Have you made any changes to your product line up or sourcing in the past year?
We've been more consistent with single origin releases now that the tin cans have been dialed in, but that was the big thing that we launched, and now it's trying to perfect that as well. Yeah, that was the big one. Strengthening relationships with farmers, because such traders is an awesome partner that we want to continue working with and buying coffee from, because they have great coffee.
Sourcing wise, though, you had to kind of pivot, right?
We did, yeah.
To Peru and Mexico and stuff like that.
Yeah, last minute we had to pivot because everything was so crazy with Brazil, and we'd have to pay $9 a pound for green, which is absurd, but it was just the reality everybody was facing. But now things have settled down. We're switching back into Brazil within the next month, which I'm really excited about. So we'll do that, and that'll be great because that'll be more in line with the flavor profile we're looking for also.
This follow-up question was what drove those decisions, but I think it was like just the tariffs and the world of coffee.
Yeah, they were external.
What drove the decisions for the cans were just trying to like stick by your word of sustainability and doing something about it.
Right, simplistic sustainability, that's one of our core values. So how do we make it as easy as possible for people to see the difference that we're trying to make? That's something where it's like a return to what it used to be. I've talked about plastic so many times, but yeah, essentially going back to tin cans is the easiest way to remove these different types of unfortunate problems that coffee packaging has, even if it's biodegradable or compostable.
How is your approach to quality control, roasting, or customer experience I feel like I sound like a little... How has your approach to quality control, roasting, or customer experience evolved in year 3? I can answer it.
Yeah, you can.
Honestly.
Why don't you answer it?
Quality control, you guys do way more tastings. Of everything. You're constantly making sure all the roasts are dialed in. Same thing with single origin. So quality control wise, you're way more on top of your roasts and tasting it and getting other opinions outside of just our own.
Yeah.
And roasting, your approach now is a schedule. Jimmy uses whatever that
Cropster
app is, and customer experience, you're just way, I feel more hands-on and involved, doing trainings and those meetings and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Ditto.
Cool. Ditto. Next one.
What does your brand stand for today? I asked this. I don't know. What does your brand stand for today, and how is that different from when you first started?
Yeah, I don't know. Even that question is hard because I feel like if people know who we were, they should know that, and I don't think we do a good enough job at identifying ourselves. So rather than answer that question, I think part of my goal this year is to just show people what it is that our brand represents. So I don't know. We can ask that question again next year. I think would be maybe a good idea.
I think the best answer is compared to year 1. Year 1, it wasn't your brand because you bought it off of someone else who has had it before that for 6 years.
Yeah.
So it's you were buying someone else's brand.
Mm-hmm.
Just now, I feel you're starting to make it your own and follow through. You could say words we're this, we're that, but then following through and representing yourself that way to people also takes time and money. So
yeah,
I think the difference is you're becoming your own version of whatever you think that is.
Yeah.
Compared to when you first started, even though it is similar.
It's funny enough because it's like this past year, when you have a kid, you start to, I don't know if you lose your identity a little bit or you just have to be a lot more sure of yourself in a lot of ways. So I think that's had an effect on the brand also, in terms of like, okay, what do we stand for? Like, what do we represent? What are some hard non-negotiables that we have to raise our child in and also stand for as a brand? They're two separate things. I'm not trying to say they're like the same, but I think a lot of that has been just part of that growth in other areas. And for me, it's been a lot of internal struggle in terms of trying to figure out what it is that we need to be representing, and rather than just talking about it all the time, like, it's part of the reason why I struggle even with marketing, because it's like they can only go so far, and what people actually experience for themselves is more telling than anything that I could just say online. That's part of the challenge. Does that make sense at all, or am I just rambling?
I kind of
Yeah, it's kind of rambling. What was the question?
I don't know. Stop listening. I was thinking about what we're going to do for
move
dinner.
on. Just move on to the next one. We don't have much time.
Was there a moment in this past year where you thought, wow, this is working? What was going on in that moment?
It's when we get to the summertime and we're just moving and grooving and things are working out well. And we're in a good rhythm and everyone's ordering and everybody's happy. So those are the times where it's like, wow, this is working and we're doing great. And time to keep pushing forward and doing more.
How do your stressors today compare to the early days of running the business?
My stressors, I think, have changed, but just even the way that I look at stress has changed in general, because before I was thriving off of it, but you kind of get burnt out after a while. Like, I had this way of operating where it works, but you just start to get burnt out after working your however many 100th hour work week. And I was just getting to the point where I was exhausted, and then we had Isaiah, and like, you just can't function normally. So it's, how do you be more efficient? And even like the pressures that you put on yourselves, or that I put on myself, it's like, I think longer term now, a lot farther out into the distance, and that's part of the reason why it's challenging to figure out what it is I'm supposed to focus on, because like, I know how long things take now, and I know that, you know, a trend that we might not hop on right now is okay, because we have to secure our success longer term, and having a more, again, sustainable way at working on this and more efficient.
Okay, well, that kind of answers the next question. What's a lesson you learned in year 3 that would have been invaluable to you in year 1?
I think everything that I did in year 1, I'm happy with. I don't think I would have like given myself advice in year 1. I think I just would have said like, yeah.
Not even about like credit card?
No, because I think I had to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I could have like been better and more responsible with it, but I think that everything that I did in year 1, I'm happy about, because it was a lesson that I learned, and I had to do that in order to learn the lesson. So.
Okay. If you could give advice to your year 2 self, what would you say?
Kind of a similar thing.
Buckle up, brother.
Yeah, kind of a similar boat. Like,
well, the start of year 2, you didn't know how much the coffee was going to go crazy.
Yeah, I think these are also too close in time for me to look back and be like, man, I was such an idiot. Because I'm sure in 5 years I'll look back and say like, yeah, I could have done this and I would have told myself this. But it's still such a close time. Like, a couple years ago is not that far. And same thing with last year. So it's like, I'm still content with everything that I've done those years. There's no like advice that I would give myself. I guess what I would say is like, focus on the things that we're focusing on now, which is reinforcing our wholesale program and bringing more value to any customer that we have, regardless of whether it's wholesale or retail.
Well, I guess that also answers the next question.
Yeah.
What habits or mindsets have been most critical for you for sustained growth?
That's a good question.
Writing everything down.
Separating your identity from work. Like, we had that conversation last week that kind of f***ed me up, where it was like, you know, is this the right thing that I should be doing? Or like, am I putting too much of my identity in this and not in, you know, God? But I think that you have to separate your identity from work, or else you're just going to get lost and you're going to get disappointed and upset and emotional and then stressed, and then you can't make decisions well. And find whatever it is that you can help you separate your identity from work, but have something outside of it that like brings you peace and can give you a sense of like comfort that's not just constantly working 24/7, because whatever you're distracting yourself from is going to come back and kill you in some way. Probably literally.
Not ask these, they're kind of stupid.
They're stupid? Okay.
They're just like, well, like, do you know what your favorite coffee is now, and do you remember it from year 1 and 2?
And is what I'm saying making sense, by the way, or am I just like rambling?
That makes sense.
Because I feel like I'm not being specific enough.
No, I think you are.
All right.
About what?
I don't know, like mindset shifts, like I don't even know the right answer to that question.
You said identity. You're not putting your identity, so your mindset shift is, I don't know, what are the actions you're doing to stand by that? If you want to explain. But...
Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. That's fine.
What did you think about when you
I'm thinking about like when you do something, you should do it. Like, you shouldn't half-ass it. You should just surround yourself with it, and you should cut off everything it is that you've done before. Like, I feel like a lot of the reasons why people are so bad at their New Year's resolutions is because they just fall back into the same habits so quickly, because they just keep going back to that lifestyle, right? Whether it's drinking or whatever it is. And something that like I've been reading about a lot lately and seeing is that when you do something that changes your life, or you make a decision that puts you on a different path, like, you completely stop whatever it is that you were doing before, like whatever the old you is. When you look at the Bible, I'm always like shocked with how whatever figure that comes up, when something happens in their life where they're called by God, or they're led to do something else, they like violently cut off their old selves. One of the directions that God says is like, do not go back the same path that you traveled. Go back a different path. And when people go back the same path, right, if we're sticking to that phrase, whatever it is, whether it's the lifestyle or the old job that you fall back into because you're too scared to like pursue the new job, the old relationship, the old whatever it is, it's suicide. You're completely done. Like, there's no chance of success anymore, because it, like, whatever.
Bring it home.
All right. They end up dying. A huge mindset shift for me, and something that I fall back into on a daily basis is like, I think about other stuff that I could have been doing, other jobs that I could be doing, or like going back to old things that I was doing where I was like, oh, what if I just like stayed a DJ, right? Like, you can't avoid those thoughts. They're always going to come into your head, whatever that old thing is that you were doing. You have to shut them out and shut it down, because you were unhappy enough to make the change. It's not better. It's what you used to do, and you didn't like it for a reason, and that's why you change your careers. And you have to remember that, and you have to keep that in mind.
I think it's really easy to like romanticize your past, because it's like far away enough where...
Oh no. You have your phone?
I remember some of it.
Oh no.
It's like a few more. It's like, what is success mean to you now versus what it meant? Yeah,
that will end it there. Do whatever it is that you have to do to continue to remind yourself. Write it down, put it on your bathroom mirror every single morning. Just remember, that's not you anymore. You're pursuing this new thing, like you're a new person now. And for me, that was a really big mindset shift.
What does success mean to you now in year 3 versus what success meant year 1?
I think success is seeing the people that we work with do well. That's how I would categorize my version of success, whether that's you and Isaiah, or the clients that we work with, or customers that we sell our coffee and they feel happy about it.
What's coming up in year 3? Wait, are we on year 3 right now?
Yeah, we're in year 3 right now.
Okay, that's confusing.
We have to move into a new space.
Horizon.
We got to move into a new space, so we're in the process of figuring that out. And what comes with that is more things that we'll be offering our customers. So,
what's something we wanted to say to our year 4 selves that we'll answer next year?
How are you feeling.
No, you can do better than that. I thought it was like, did you move into a new space?
Yeah, that's the big one. We'll just
Do
say
you
that.
still like matcha?
Yeah.
You still bald?
Still bald.
All right.
All right.
Goodbye.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching, everybody.